And so it started as a protection mechanism, and now it's turned into what is keeping you from getting the life that you want and getting out of your comfort zone. So just know, before we go any further, your brain is wired for negativity. That is okay. And the way that it shows up in your normal everyday life is, while the dangers of our ancestors have mostly disappeared, the negativity bias has not. It's in our brain. So instead, it manifests in a bunch of different ways in our modern lives. And there's a couple different ways, and I'll go through them. The first one is your attention and your memory are really important to know. One of the most apparent ways that negativity bias tends to affect us is how we pay attention to and remember events. So negative events tend to stand out in our lives way more than positive events. And so if you're a person who had an okay childhood, but it wasn't the best, if you were to think back to your childhood, you could probably think a lot about the negative things that popped up, the one time that your mom yelled at you, the time that your dad forgot about you, the time that you were bullied. But the positive ones are kind of, that they were there, but you can't really remember all of them. Maybe it's like, I remember Disney when I was a kid. Another example of that is so that's your past and your memory. But also when you think about what you're focusing on, you could go out today and you could wear a new jacket, right? And you could receive 10 compliments on that jacket and 1 criticism on that jacket. And it's more likely that you're going to remember and you'll be kind of stuck on the criticism way longer than the other compliments, even though you got 10 times more compliments. I remember when this really started, when I first started putting content on Instagram, and I've posted over 8,000 times on Instagram now in the past 9 years at this point. But I remember when I first started posting on Instagram, and I would get positive comments and I would get a couple negative comments. Now, I remember one time I put up a video that went kind of viral. I've had quite a few viral videos at this point. Just on social media alone, I have over 2 billion views with a B. And so at the very beginning, I didn't know what to do with the negative attention that I was getting. And it was 1% of the attention and the comments were negative. But what I noticed was I was focusing on the negative one. There was one video that I had that got a couple million views, right? And it was all of these positive comments. I agree. And then there was one of them that was just this really negative. And it was probably 100 positive comments and 1 negative one. And a few hours later, I was literally about to go and I was about to leave my house. And I noticed myself ruminating and thinking about this 1 negative comment. And I was like, what are you doing? You're thinking about 1 negative comment and you had over 100 positive comments. And it was just a little reminder of me of we're going to focus on the negative. It's a protection mechanism in some sort of way.